I started my Memorial Day in a reflective mood, as I try to do every Memorial Day, remembering relatives who served in wars from World War II to Afghanistan, and went to visit the gravesite of my father-in-law, who was in the Air Force. So I started in a reflective mood, and then I ended my day with a reflective mood with Bill Walton. And, different emotions there. It hit me hard when I first heard that Bill had passed away, because I didn't know he was battling cancer. But knowing Bill, he's not going to let anybody know that he was battling cancer. And if you've been a fan of this show, for over 20 years, we've had Bill on. Back at the mothership days, Bill would call in. I'd say, "Hi, Bill, how are you?" And he would talk for 8 to 12 minutes. Stream of consciousness. I just let him go. I rarely had time to ask him another question because I didn't have another 8 to 12 minutes, and I had to move on with programming. But Bill would call in, give us stream of consciousness, and I don't have those archives. Those are owned by ESPN, or I would give you a sampling of just what it was like. I had no idea what Billy was going to talk about. But so many positive memories. I was sad, but then I started to think about, man, Bill would be so disappointed. "Why are you crying?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, And then I started thinking about all the positives. And there's so many of them, because Bill went out of his way to make you feel good, make you smile. And he did that. And I had so many interactions with him. And I don't even know where to begin with my relationship with him. My intramural team in college was named the Walton Gang after Bill. I love the way he played basketball. I love the purity, the simplicity. He understood the game. He understood that. He was great in high school, great in college, and of course, great in the NBA when he was healthy. But when you thought of college basketball, Bill Walton was the name, the face. And Kareem and Bill are the two greatest centers of all time in college. Now, you can put in Bill Russell, obviously a winner as well at San Francisco, but Bill and Kareem are the two greatest centers that I ever saw. But he was so much more than that. He went to almost 900 Grateful Dead concerts. He had almost 40 different operations. He would call them procedures. And, he thought about committing suicide. He had had so many back surgeries. He was in so much pain. And, Jim Gray was going to find the best spinal surgery doctor in the world, and he did, and helped prolong Bill's life. And Bill was in extreme pain, and he even came on the show and thought about suicide. But after that, it felt like he had a new lease on life, and he was going to squeeze every ounce of every topic, every person, every game, every moment. And you can't help but have a smile on your face when you think about Bill. The story that I tell often, we did a show called NBA's Greatest Games at NBA Entertainment. And so we look back on a game in the 1986 NBA Finals, and Bill came in as the guest. We watch the game, we get opinions, and then, we close it up, and I'm getting ready to go into New York City. And he goes, "Can I get a lift?" And I go, "Bill, I'm driving a Volkswagen Jetta." And he didn't care. He got in the car, and he could have rested his chin on his knees. That's how little space he had. But he didn't care. He goes, "You got tunes?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I got Dylan, Greatest Hits, Volume 1. He goes, "Dylan, Mozart, and Beethoven, geniuses." So we're driving into New York. We go through the Lincoln Tunnel. And Bill goes, "Can you put on Blowing in the Wind?" I said, "Yes." So put on Blowing in the Wind. So we're going through the Lincoln Tunnel. Bill is crammed in there, and the windows are down, and he is singing, "The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind, blowing in the wind." And then he turns to me, he goes, "That's a metaphor." And I go, and he could not have been happier. And here he is squeezed in there. He always wanted to be listed at 6'11" because he was told that 7-footers are freaks. So Billy, he was probably 7'2". But he sent me a bunch of gear when we moved into the man cave, sent me his autographed jersey and autographed basketball. I was there for his first pro game. when he faced Kareem at the University of Dayton, his rookie year. Waited for him. He came out of the locker room, and I walked across the parking lot with him. He had a red plaid shirt, and he had jeans, and he had a bandana. He had long hair, and he had a bag. And I remember saying, "What's in the bag?" And he goes, "Nuts and berries." He was vegan before vegan. And I just remember walking and watching him, and I don't know why. And then he was fortunate to have Jack Ramsey as his head coach. That '77 Blazer team, Blazer Mania. It's one of the finest performances of a selfless team I've ever seen in my life. And Bill did not care about scoring. He did not care. He would rather have a block shot or a great pass than a dunk. He was selfless. That whole team was. And some of the best basketball, unless you're a Philadelphia 76er fan, that I've ever seen as far as team goes. But I can't help but think of great things when I think of Bill. And, in a lot of ways, he's similar to John Madden, that people forget that John Madden was a Hall of Fame coach with the Raiders. They know him from the Madden video game. Bill's one of the great centers college basketball history, had a lot of injuries, won 2 titles in the NBA, but they know him as a broadcaster. And then 1986, he's sixth man, for the Celtics, coming off the bench, winning a title, playing with Larry Bird. Bill was Larry's idol. Let that sink in. But Bill was as good a passer as, he saw the game. He didn't have a great shot, but he was so active, so springy, and great offensively and defensively. But understanding the concepts of the game, there were very few who saw it better than he did. He just couldn't play. He was, even the following year after they won the title, I think they were 50-10 after 60 games, and then he got injured. And his career was really marked by those injuries, foot injuries, back injuries as well. He was a character. And I remember talking to John Wooden about him. And, Coach would have a smile, that smile that's like, boy, he put me through the ringer. And he would say, "Oh, Bill." And, but they all had such reverence for Coach Wooden. So Bill passing away at the age of 71. And if you came in contact with him, you were a better person because he was going to make sure you had a smile on your face. So Billy passing away at the age of 71. Thanks to those who did reach out, because it did hurt. It stung me hard. And then I kept thinking, God, he'd be so disappointed if he knew I was sad. And that's true. So we celebrate Bill Walton. I'm going to bring back an interview. I think this might have been the last interview that Bill did with us. I'll play that a little bit later on, just so you get a sense of when he came on and stream of consciousness. Because there'd be times I would want to ask him things, but he had other things that he wanted to talk about. It could be understanding and explaining the confluence of 3 rivers to, was Gunga Din a great athlete? Like, you're just going, wait, what? Where are we going with this? But he didn't grow up in a sports household because his mom was a librarian, his dad a social worker, his brother Bruce played for the Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman. But I don't think education was what was stressed. Bill had a stutter till he was close to 28 years of age. And I joked with him one time. I said, "You had a hard time talking. Now you have a hard time shutting up." And he goes, "Isn't it wonderful?" So had that great voice, booming voice, and he loved the game. He always talked. I remember saying to him, "God, you had that series against Kareem, and you went down the lane and dunked on him." He goes, "Oh, my idol." Like, it almost hurt him that he was dunking on his idol, Kareem, in a playoff game. But for those of you in Portland, you're very, very fortunate. You got to watch some of the greatest basketball ever played, in my opinion, in Blazer Mania, when you beat Dr. J. They lost the first 2, and then they won the next 4. Yeah, that's. I was trying to sum up how I could put this into words and not get emotional, and hopefully I've encapsulated. But imagine when we all want to have an impact. We all want to leave people thinking that person was this. Billy did that. Bill left an impression that puts a smile on your face. And that's a damn good legacy.